I admire this church for the amount of people who serve. I'm blown away anytime there's events, activities going on. There's never a lack of people serving.
I think the thing that I really love about attending Oak Hill is the sense of community that we have. From our small groups to the different ministries that are available, everything is about coming together and living life and serving each other and just going along our walk together. And that's probably my favorite thing, is that everybody, no matter which service you go to, is part of the community of Oak Hill.
We see the growth in the body now, and I can only imagine what God's going to do and continue to grow.
Hey, church family, Pastor Allen here. I'm so excited for our future. We're entering this stewardship campaign with the theme of one family, one mission. And we truly do believe that we're one family here. We're a family for life, for this life and the life to come. But we're one family on one mission, and we want to stay on mission in our community. And to do that, we need to enter into the stewardship campaign so God can continue to do what He's been doing among us. As God moves, we move. Let's keep moving.
For me, it's helped kind of push me a little bit. And as far as I've been able to teach classes, I've led a small group. So it's kind of helped push me and sharpen me in different areas.
I'm very excited about this new opportunity of the building and the land, because it's just going to offer our church so many more opportunities to really serve and be the hands and feet of Jesus.
You have to think of those future generations, and in order to grow, you have to be progressive and think ahead of the curve and not wait until you get to a point where you're busting at the seams. And God's provided that. He's provided an opportunity for us. The way He worked things out, the way we were able to work with the other church that was there previously, His plan is ultimately always on point. And He allows things to go smoothly and be glorified in everything.
God has been moving at Oak Hill for a number of years. In 1963, our church was founded, and in 1965, they came to build their first building. Maybe a fact you didn't know about that time is that there were 5 families in that church that came together and mortgaged their own homes as collateral to make sure that that building could be built. God blessed that and that act of faith. And over the years, Oak Hill continued to grow, all the way up through all the other building programs that have taken place throughout the years. And then ultimately in 2008, the congregation, which many of you were a part of that, we came together really in a bad time, in a downturn of economy, to come together to build our current facility that we're in now. And God moved in great ways in very challenging financial times to where now that building is paid off in full. We're thankful for that. But here we are again now, finding ourselves in a pandemic, wanting to move forward and needing to move forward in another capital campaign. We're going to do it because God has moved supernaturally in the past, and I know He's going to do it now in this challenging time. But it's going to be a time where it's going to be unmistakable that God gets all the glory and all the credit for everything that's going to happen. God's going to move in a great way. I know He will.
It's amazing that people gave to build this church that we have, that we're worshiping in right now. And I think it's definitely our turn to, pave the way for the future, and so that our kids can grow up and have space to invite their friends so that they can come to church and to know God too.
Well, I think it's important to remember the spirit in which something was built. So in keeping alive the mission of Oak Hill, which is to walk together in our walk with Christ, is to really keep alive what they've built. The building is just a building. It's the spirit in which they built it that makes it special. We could be in any building. We could be at the North Campus, we could be here, we could be at the Ford Center. And what's more important than that is the spirit in which we came together. The fact that our campus is now too small for us is a great blessing, and it shows the Lord's work. But the most important thing is that we don't forget why we came together to build this building in the first place.
Some people may say, why are you trying to raise money in this time, in the time of the pandemic? Well, the simple fact is we have great needs. God has been blessing our church up to the pandemic, and we were needing more space, more parking, and more ministry space. And we know God's going to continue to move on the backside of this pandemic. So we're only taking steps forward to be faithful with God. He has moved. We know He's going to continue to move. And so now is our chance to step forward in faith, to raise this money, to provide the parking, to provide the ministry space that we need, all for the glory of God.
New space, new open areas, and I know down the future, this building will house the youth group upstairs, and the renovations plans that they have, they are very excited.
Yeah, they were excited when they initially showed the drawings of what their space was going to look like. Yeah, they got really excited, just the possibilities. And having that here, and also having all the land out there to just be outside and play and to do whatever. They're excited.
So as we move through the phases, the eventual goal is to use the North Campus to have a bigger worship center so that we can get away from having multiple services and in one service so that we can be that one family on mission together. And then the South Campus to be where the activities happen during the week and where the pastors have their offices and where
daycare can expand.
And
reach
grow.
more families.
So that's the ultimate goal, is for us to continue to grow the kingdom, but to also make sure that we gather as a family and are able to gather as a family together down the road.
One reason we're entering into a capital campaign at this time is because we've got to pay for the property that the Lord's provided for us. We've secured the property, but we've got to pay for it. And we need to renovate the property as well. It has some major renovations that need to take place. And we're also going to be renovating areas on our South Campus as well to provide new student ministry space and better children's ministry space as well. Secure children's ministry space. So we're excited about all those things, but we've got to come together to raise the monies to pay for the property and to do all the renovations that need to be done.
I think for the campaign to be successful, we're going to have to all work together at it. The slogan for the church is a family for life, and this is where we put that into action. If we're a family and we're going to continue to reach the community around us, we need more space. And in order to get that, we're going to have to all pitch in and do our part.
To get this building up and running, it's going to take a lot of prayer as a family, as a church, even the littles. We have to raise them up and teach them that something this big has to come from prayer, faith, and we have to really think about what we can give.
You know, if you look very closely at your budget, it's easy to get caught up in, how are we going to best use this money for ourselves or for our family, but really the purpose of our lives is to glorify God and enjoy God, and so our finances need to reflect that, and the time that we spend in prayer and just meditating on God's Word, it has to reflect what our purposes and our priorities are in life. And so just continuing to reorient our hearts and focus it on what truly matters.
You do have to sacrifice. It is sacrifice. Financially, time, effort, those things have to be sacrificed for the kingdom. And that's what we're called to do.
Church family, I've always shared with you that a model that we need to live by is that as God moves, we move. It's unmistakable that God has been moving in our midst. He's moved before the pandemic, He's moving in the middle of the pandemic, and He will surely move on the backside of it. So we want to move with God, which means we've got to come together. We've got to give together. We've got to pray together. We've got to look to the future together and trust and know that God is on His throne and that He's going to move in a great way. All we have to do is step out in faith and to participate with Him in the direction that He has for our church. Let's do this. Let's lean into the challenge and let's give God all the glory as we raise these funds in the middle of a hard time, but we do it all for His glory.
With the first capital campaign, we knew that was going to be tough because we started that one in a recession as well, 2008. So this church has never even stumbled or wavered its faith in those hard times. So I see no complications. We have full faith that He'll provide.
We just have to follow in what He leads us, and we continue to do what He tells us to do. So
I've shared with you for a long time, something that's very dear to my heart. I believe this. As God moves, we move. What we need to do now is just continue to move with God. He's been moving. He's going to continue to move. And we do that by coming together, one family, on one mission together. Let's participate in this time together to make a difference for the glory of God right here in our city, Evansville, Indiana.